Thank you for joining us on Lewis University's news source, WFLY-TV. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, 2014. I'm Natalie Budig.
I'm Shane Gustafson.
And here are your top stories for today. Lewis University is a proud sponsor of the Si Se Puede conference. The conference is named after the phrase Si Se Puede, meaning yes, you can. Its goal is to inspire high school students, administrators, and Lewis students, as well as provide students with what they need to be successful. This year's keynote speaker is Richard Montanez. He is a marketing and sales executive at PepsiCo North America. The conference will take place this Thursday, starting at 9:30 a.m.
84% of people who studied abroad in college felt they were more prepared for the job market. Lewis University sends students all over the world to study. Noelle Trainer has more.
No doubt that Lewis University is a beautiful campus to spend your college years. But have you ever thought about studying at a different school? What about in a different country? The Study Abroad office at Lewis University affords students with the opportunity to spend a semester, summer, or even a few weeks studying in a new environment.
Provides them with a different perspective on the world as well, seeing that the way that they do things here in Romeoville may not be the only way of living a life or tackling an issue. And so it gives them that perspective, a different perspective, so they can come back to Romeoville, come back to the U.S. and look at things both in their work and their daily life in a different way.
France, Ireland, London, and Rome are just a few of the beautiful places Lewis students have studied. One of the most frequently asked questions pertaining to study abroad is, so how much is this going to cost me? Well, it turns out it's really not as much as you would think.
For almost half, actually about half of our programs, for semester programs, the cost of our programs, which includes tuition at the host institution plus housing, the cost is Lewis tuition plus $300.
The cost of Lewis tuition plus $300 seems like a pretty good deal when you put into account the memories and lessons learned by immersing yourself in another culture. So step out of your comfort zone, experience new things, and start your study abroad adventure by applying online. Reporting for WFLY-TV News, I'm Noelle Trainer.
This past weekend, Lewis went country to celebrate homecoming. This year's theme was Goin' Country and was packed with activities. On Saturday, there was a 5K, and on Sunday, the baseball team had a home run derby, and then also they had a Flyers luncheon. This Saturday night ended with the country fair block party out on the University Mall.
Last Thursday, Lewis University held a barbecue for the senior class. Olivia Estrada has more.
Turned out to be a hit, and as students strolled in, many of them had high hopes for what it had in store for them.
I'm more excited because I see bags, I see a ball being into, and a wheel that I can probably spin and maybe win something.
We're doing the bingo, so hopefully I'm going to win a Kindle Fire or a nice sweatshirt, and I also want a plaque, so we'll see.
The class of 2015 had a chance to mingle with one another, playing volleyball or bags, and even signing up for a raffle. But what always drives college students to come and enjoy an event is always the free food.
Okay. The barbecue was not only a great chance for seniors to catch up with one another, but it was also a great opportunity for them to network with alumni who had great tips for them.
I would tell students here today not to be afraid to try new things. You might leave here and not get a career in your field, and it's okay to try new things. Don't be afraid of what else is out there. Start getting as many applications as you can out there. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Each step that you take to get an interview or to have an interview, even if you are not selected, it's still one step closer you are to your dream job.
As students enjoyed their last times together, many were given the chance to walk away with something valuable. This is Olivia Estrada with WFLY-TV News.
A car accident involving 11 vehicles left 3 people dead and 11 injured. The accident occurred just before 5 p.m. on Sunday in southwest Oak Lawn. 81-year-old Edward Carthens was found slumped over at a steering wheel and at an intersection. When he was approached, he was asked if he was okay, which he said yes, and then he proceeded to speed off and crashed into 4 vehicles. Like I said, when he was approached, he said he was okay, and then he went on to hit 4 vehicles. Carthens and 2 nuns were killed in the accident, and it is not known whether or not drugs or alcohol were involved in the crashes.
A 17-year-old boy was arrested Monday morning in connection with the September 28th shooting that left one teen dead and another wounded. According to Skokie police, the suspect fatally shot Maxwell Godaw. The arrest comes one day after 4 other teens were charged in the shooting of Godaw. The shooting began after 5 teens tried to rob Godaw's friend, who was wounded in the event. The teens were supposed to purchase marijuana from Godaw's friends, but intended to rob the girl after the deal was done. Skokie Police Commander David Pollock stated that the police department isn't looking for anyone else in connection to the shooting at this time.
First Lady Michelle Obama was in Chicago today helping incumbent Governor Pat Quinn in his bid to be re-elected. Obama helped raise money for Quinn's election, following in the footsteps of the president, who last week hosted a fundraiser for Quinn that brought in over $1 million. The event took place at the UIC Pavilion. Obama is another Democratic celebrity to join Quinn's bid. Actor Martin Sheen also campaigned with Quinn over the weekend. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is expected to join Quinn's campaign when she is in Chicago to deliver a speech at a medical conference on Wednesday.
A Bolingbrook teen is being accused of attempting to join ISIS. Find out more when we come back.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. Could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're doing fine.
What does that just do?
Select the drop-down menu again.
Wait.
So you're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payments. Submit. There it is.
Oh my God! I really can't believe it. That's awesome.
Good for you.
At O'Hare Airport, a teen was arrested while trying to travel to the Middle East. Mohammed Khan is a 19-year-old Bolingbrook resident who apparently wanted to join the terrorist group ISIS. Khan was boarding a flight to Istanbul and planned to slip through the Turkish border to Syria or Iraq. Khan left a letter for his family stating that Western societies are getting too immoral and that he didn't want his kids exposed to filth like this. He could face up to 15 years in prison if convicted.
An NBC News cameraman who contracted Ebola while working in West Africa arrived in Omaha yesterday morning. Health officials say the 33-year-old man arrived in a private jet at a remote Nebraska airport and was transported by ambulance to the Nebraska's Medical Center's biocontamination unit. Health officials say no one came in contact with the man, and paramedics wore hazmat suits while dealing with him. Officials say the man is in isolation at the hospital and won't be exposed to other patients, doctors, or visitors. NBC says the man was hired last week to document the effects of Ebola on people in Western Africa and the surrounding region. NBC also says they'll send other members of their camera crew back to the United States for precautionary testing. The virus has killed over 3,000 people across Western Africa.
The United States Supreme Court refused to rule on same-sex marriage yesterday afternoon and instead decided to stay away from the issue. The court's decision to stay out of the debate enforces appeals court rulings and increases the number of states that allow same-sex marriage from 19 to 24. Legal experts say the decision against a ruling could increase the number of states allowing same-sex marriage to 30 by the end of the month, meaning the majority of same-sex couples in the United States will be able to get married. The Supreme Court didn't offer an explanation as to why they decided not to make a decision, but experts say it could lead to allowing same-sex marriage nationwide.
3 students from separate high schools were killed last week during football activities. 16-year-old Tom Coutinilla and 17-year-old Demario Harris Jr. were both killed after taking hits to the head in their respective games this past Friday. 17-year-old Isaiah Langston collapsed before his team's game on Friday. Both Harris and Langston were believed to have pre-existing conditions that led to their deaths. Harris suffered a brain hemorrhage as a result of a hit during his game, while Langston was believed to have a blood clot in his brain. Head injuries are still the biggest cause of death in football players, despite the NFL's Heads Up campaign showing the proper way to tackle without using the head and neck.
The protests in Ferguson, Missouri looked a little different Saturday night when demonstrators moved off the streets into a symphony concert. Officials say just as the St. Louis Symphony was returning from intermission, 2 audience members stood up and began singing in remembrance of Michael Brown, the unarmed teenager shot and killed by a white police officer earlier this summer. The symphony's vice president says in total 50 audience members became involved in the protests, and all of them had purchased tickets to the symphony. Officials say the police didn't get involved and no one became violent. Police say this is the same group that is responsible for protests at a St. Louis Cardinals game about 2 weeks ago.
A newly engaged couple was involved in a hot air balloon crash Sunday evening. Moments after Eric Barreto proposed, the balloon was pushed north of San Diego when winds switched directions. A pilot was also on board and one of the passengers couldn't swim. The pilot was running out of fuel to keep the balloon in the air until they found safer ground. The pilot decided to stay in the basket as lifeguards helped the passengers land safely. On the ground, there were 15 surfers who pulled a rope attached to the basket to bring the hot air balloon to shore.
Ebola is spreading quickly. Find out more after this break. This is the first one to contract it outside.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Time to wake up. I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Don't forget, you've got a job to do today.
Hey, Mom. I got the job. Thanks. I've got the job. Welcome aboard.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does. And like that, you're a job creator.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything,
It is I, Cruz Zinkerbell. Yeah. Okay, time for cake.
it's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
The Ebola virus is spreading, and a woman in Spain is the first person outside of Africa to become infected. Spanish health officials say a nursing assistant tested positive for the disease yesterday after she helped treat a missionary and priest who had recently returned from West Africa. Officials say the woman became sick last week but didn't seek medical attention until yesterday. Health officials say the woman originally went to the hospital with a fever and didn't show any other signs of the Ebola virus. Health officials are investigating anyone who may have been exposed to the woman to make sure she didn't spread the virus. So far, there are no other reported cases. President Obama and other world leaders will meet with the CDC later this week to discuss the next steps in preventing the virus.
The search for missing Flight 370 has resumed 7 months after the plane disappeared. The search area has once again been narrowed down to an arc about 23,000 square miles, which is roughly the size of West Virginia. The Geo Phoenix search vessel began its search yesterday morning Central Time. 3 other vessels will help the search sometime in October, and the search is expected to take at least a year to complete.
11 members of an indigenous tribe in Colombia were killed after an electrical storm started during an early morning ritual. One of the lightning bolts, which took place just after 2 a.m. Central Time, struck a hut, lighting it on fire and leading to 11 deaths and 13 injuries. The injured members were airlifted to a local hospital and treated. The members were discussing problems facing the community. Colombian President Juan Miguel Santos tweeted his condolences to those affected. However, there are no plans of help being given to the tribe at this time.
Mexican authorities say a mass grave site may hold the remains of 43 missing students. Investigators recovered the bodies of at least 28 people. Investigators say the bodies were covered in gasoline and set on fire before being buried, which makes the identification process very difficult and may take at least 2 months. The students have been missing since September 26th. Officials say that the main suspects are local police officers.
Voting for president began in Brazil Sunday night and went into a runoff vote yesterday. Early election results showed a current president, Dilma Rousseff, in the lead, but she didn't get the majority of the first-round votes, leading to the runoff election. Politicians in Brazil say they expect the 66-year-old Rousseff to win the election against her closest competitor, Aécio Neves. Voters in Brazil say they want a fair election with a leader who promises to fight corruption in the country. Election officials are expected to name the winner of the presidency by the end of the week.
Wow, lots of stuff going on in the news lately. Not so much positive stuff, but mostly negative. But hopefully we can look forward to some positive temperatures coming up. Hopefully more days like this, a positive weather forecast.
Maybe a little bit warmer. I hate to break it to you, but I don't think that it's going to be moving in the right direction anytime soon. I think we're finally starting to head into that fall season. You know, the past couple of weeks it's been getting a little colder, and unfortunately, it's a trend that's going to continue going into the next week.
Awesome. Well, Scott, we'll have more when we come back.
Those books are heavy. My sport is football, but my passion is education. So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Maybe he's really focused.
Hey, Michael. Michael. Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
So, I got this new family. And I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
And we're here with your Lewis University weather update. We have a live shot here of Lewis University right now. You could tell today it's kind of spotty clouds throughout the day. Sometimes it was kind of sunny, sometimes it wasn't. Kind of that's how it's been the past couple of days. Current temperature is 65 degrees. Let's take a look at the temperatures across the nation here. If you look here, a lot of the temperatures heading up into the area right now are kind of colder. It's a lot of that wind coming in from the north, from Canada, bringing in some of the colder air and bringing that weather, that fall temperature that we're kind of getting used to as we're finally into the fall season here. It's getting closer. Last week we had a couple temperatures where it was in the 80s where we were bringing out the shorts. Now it's time to start bringing out the jackets. It's getting a little colder out there. So let's look at the 7-day forecast here as we come up. Right, as we said, right now it's 65 degrees. Heading into tomorrow, it's going to be 62. So a little bit of a jump in the temperature there, but it's still going to be kind of partly cloudy. So there's going to be moments where there is going to be a little bit of sun. Sometimes there's not going to be. And then next game, going into Thursday, it's going to be 58 degrees with 30% of chance of rain. So you may want to take an umbrella with you. Get ready. It could be raining. And then looking ahead here rest of the week, it does not get much better. Friday is going to be a high of 58 degrees. Again, partly cloudy, but again, temperatures are heading in the wrong direction as we get closer and closer, deeper into the fall season and getting closer to winter. I hate to break it to you guys, but it's getting closer. As we move into Saturday, again, it's going to be a high of 55 degrees. And then Sunday, moving into that, again, it's going to be 58 degrees, but the Bears are on the road, so don't have to worry about that. 30% chance of rain. And then finally, on Monday, we start heading back into the right direction, high of 62. So it's getting a little better, but again,
it warms up a little bit.
It warms, but we're not, I think the 80s and the 70s might be over for a little while.
Well, a little bit of a warm-up I can live with.
I could live with that too. I mean, I'm not super excited for the cold
Personally,
weather.
I'm a fall guy, so I don't mind these colder temperatures.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for the weather forecast. We now switch over to David. So David, what's going on in sports?
Well, there's a lot of good stuff going on. It's kind of a boring day in sports, actually, but there's still MLB playoffs. There's still some Chicago teams starting up their regular and preseasons, and Lewis has a lot of really good teams going right now. Really good spot for those teams right now.
Awesome. Well, we're eager, excuse me, if I could talk, that would be great, but we're eager to hear about Lewis sports, so stay tuned.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. Could be one very expensive ride. First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled? You're doing fine.
What did that just do?
Select the drop-down menu again. To the site, you're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payment. Submit. There it is.
Oh my God! I really can't believe it. That's awesome.
Good for you.
After another weekend of sweeps against GLVC opponents, some people are starting to wonder if the women's volleyball team can be beaten. No team has been able to as much as muster a set against the team since September 21st, when the team defeated Maryville 3-1. This weekend, the team defeated Bellarmine and Southern Indiana on the road, making it 6 straight sweeps and 8 consecutive victories for the team, giving them an 8-1 conference record. The team has 2 home matches over break against St. Joseph's and Indianapolis on Friday and Saturday before the GLVC crossover tournament in Aurora next weekend. The team will continue to fight for the top seed in the GLVC as that team will host the conference tournament, a distinction the Flyers had last season. Don't forget to check the schedule and results for all volleyball games on lewisflyers.com, and you can check all weekend games on LUTN. The men's soccer team suffered a tough loss last weekend against Southern Indiana, but earned 3 of 4 points this weekend, drawing with McKendree at 0 and defeating Bellarmine 1-0, with both games taking place at Lewis Stadium. The good news for the team is that teams ranked above them in the GLVC had rough weekends as well. Most notably, 7-0 Quincy drew with 1-4-2 William Jewell and got a little help from a big matchup as 2nd and 3rd place Missouri St. Louis and Drury played, with Drury winning that game. The Flyers are now 3-0-1 at home on the season, while also winning their only matchup on neutral pitch. George Thompson still leads the team in goals, scoring 6 of the team's 13 on the year. Goalkeeper Omar Ramirez now has 4 clean sheets on the season and has allowed only 7 goals in 10 appearances so far. Also playing well right now is the club hockey team at Lewis, who swept Robert Morris this weekend at the Edge in Bensonville. The team is now on a 6-game winning streak, also sweeping St. Norbert's last weekend and defeating Notre Dame and Augustana the weekend before. The team is now tied for 2nd in the ACHA Midwest region, sitting behind only Northern Michigan. Nicholas Johnson leads the team with 6 goals, while Brendan Bednarz leads the team with 13 points, according to the ACHA website. The 2-headed goalie machine of Kaysen Kirkpatrick and Austin Julvazan has played well, leading to the dominant play as of late. The team plays DePaul next weekend on the road, followed by a home series against the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign that can be heard on the radio home for Lewis Hockey, WLRA 88.1 FM. The Chicago Blackhawks are just 2 days away from starting their season, but most of the buzz surrounding the team is around the roster choices made by general manager Stan Bowman and head coach Joel Quenneville. This weekend, the team sent defenseman Nick Leddy to the New York Islanders for prospects, while also cutting the roster down to 20 men, which included having to send down Peter Regan and heralded prospect Toivo Teravainen. Surprisingly, the final roster includes Daniel Carcillo, who was just added back to the roster after a season playing with both the Los Angeles Kings and New York Rangers. The team's first game is against an up-and-coming Dallas Stars squad who added Jason Spezza in the offseason, a player that had been linked to a possible move to the Hawks. Corey Crawford is the projected goalie for the Hawks, while the Stars are expected to counter with Kari Lehtinen. While the Blackhawks have ended their preseason run, the Bulls played their first preseason game last night. If you were excited for the arrival of Nikola Mirotic, last night was the best sign yet that Mirotic will bring his explosive play from Europe to the NBA. Mirotic led all Bulls in scoring with 17 points, including 3 of 5 shooting on three-pointers, and also added 5 rebounds in 22 minutes of action. Newcomer Pau Gasol led the team in rebounds, picking up 8 boards while also adding 8 points. Derrick Rose shot 4 of 7 from the field, while Joakim Noah got into an altercation with Paul Pierce in the game. The next Bulls game is tonight when the team travels to the Palace at Auburn Hills to take on the Detroit Pistons. The team will play the Cleveland Cavaliers on October 20th, making it the most high-profile preseason game for the team. In briefs, the Chicago Cubs are being linked to possible moves for John Lester or Max Scherzer this offseason after both were officially eliminated from playoff contention. The St. Louis Cardinals and San Francisco Giants both have chances to clinch their respective NLDS series tonight. Right now, the Cardinals and Dodgers are playing with the teams tied at 0 in the bottom of the 4th inning, while the Giants will try to beat the Washington Nationals tonight to move on. 8 preseason NBA games take place tonight. Most notably, Israeli side Maccabi Tel Aviv will play the Brooklyn Nets at the Barclays Center. And Sri Lanka and Australia under-19 teams are currently in day 2 of their 3-day test cricket match. Don't know how they have that kind of stamina. I wouldn't be able to do that. And we're going to move on to our play of the day now. And it's a great story, really. It's more than just a regular play. This is J.P. Gibson, a 5-year-old leukemia patient who last night was playing for the Utah Jazz. It's his dream to play basketball. You see here he dunks the ball in the middle of the game. 2 points and a whole bunch of happy fans in the crowd. You see how happy he is getting the game ball right there. Just a good story for him. He's been talking about how much he's loved sports his entire life and how he wants to play basketball at some point in his childhood. And, every child should be able to do that.
Absolutely. Look how cute he is.
Right?
He's just so...
He looks so happy out there playing with
I'm
them.
just impressed he's 5 years old, already in the NBA. It makes me really question what I've done.
And he's
dunking in the game, yeah.
I'm 19 years old and I can't dunk yet, so maybe there's hope for me.
Absolutely. Well, I love it when sports teams can do that and give back to their communities.
Yes.
Well, that's it for today's news. I'm Natalie Budig.
I'm Shane Gustafson.
I'm Dave Ritterhoff with sports.
And I'm Scott Turek with weather.
Have a good night.